All right, ladies and gentlemen, so we are going to specifically be talking about the additive method in this video, which is a form of 3D modeling that you will use in SketchUp to use to create your puzzle pieces. Now, the additive method is going to be used and introduced today to try to create an L-shaped puzzle piece, just like this. And the additive method is when you take an initial starting point and pull it or add to it, kind of like Legos clicking on top of each other. So I'm going to show you two ways to do this. The first being, if you look here, if this is the puzzle piece we were trying to recreate, imagine this is like linking cubes in front of you in your hand, and we need to build it. You'll notice here that it looks like a rectangle piece with a square piece on top. So that's going to be the first way that I show you how to do this. Now remember, whenever you're measuring things, linking cubes as well as your wooden puzzle cubes are all 3/4 inches. So because I have what I assume here would be 1, 2, 3 puzzle cubes, then that's going to be 3/4 plus 3/4 plus 3/4. So that's going to help me on my first measurement. So this is where I'm going to start showing you what the additive method is. Because I said I see a rectangle piece here and then a square piece added on top, I'm going to start with this bottom piece. Now that doesn't mean you don't, if you see a rectangle piece here, you could start that and then pull this out. It's still adding. So you can add either way. I'm just saying I see this 3/4 inch piece here, which I will start right here. So I'm going to do 3/4 inches by 9/4 inches because that 3/4 inches is how tall it is, that 9/4 inches is how long it is, and then I will press enter and it's gone forever. Now, we have to make sure we have the correct size. So engineers, architects, if it's not the correct size here, if you're like, oh, it's invisible, this is an infinite space, meaning you can play with it forever. So go to this bottom tool and click this snap. And that snap's going to allow you to kind of see what you're working with. Now, we're looking at something that's 3/4 inches. So we have to make sure we respect that. Now it's flat, so I have to make sure I pull it, and everything on a cube is the same measurement. So again, I'm going to put 3/4 inches. Oh, I can't show you and move it at the same time, sorry. I'm going to put 3/4 inches right here and press enter. And you'll notice again, I'm just clicking and then inputting the measurement. So I can always leave that there. I do not have to type down here because I need to tell the computer what I'm clicking up here. So from there, now I have that beautiful, go away. There we go. Now I have that beautiful rectangle that I thought, this looks like something's on top of it. So now I need to put that cube on top of it. So the additive method means I'm going to add to it. But if I use the push-pull tool here, I'm going to push this entire length, and I don't want that. So I need to make sure that when I do this, I am pulling what I want to pull. And if I am looking specifically at this shape, it looks like I'm pulling a single cube. So I need to go here and create a single cube. One quick thing, don't ever type measurements in when it's like this. It's called a golden section when you see that diagonal line right there, not right there. I always like to type there because usually the golden section kind of throws me off. So I'm going to input 3/4 inches by 3/4 inches because this is going to make the base of my cube. And now I have to push-pull this up the other remaining 3/4 inches. So the additive method tells you, can you see something, one shape, and can you pull away the rest of it? So now you'll see, because I saw it as I'm going to first tackle this shape and then add this on top of it, that's the additive method. One other way that I actually want to show you how to do this, which is actually the way that I like to do it. This is an option. If you like the way that I just did it, great, go try it on your own. If you don't, or you want to see a different way, then I'm going to show you this real quick too. This is going to look terrible. Don't ever do this. But I have to be on the same file because all my files are super important. Okay, now what I'm going to do is show you specifically just the way I like to do it. So I'm going to make a new it's still going to be the additive method, but it's just another way to do it. So I'm going to do, I know that this all started with a puzzle cube. I'm sorry, a linking cube. So I know that no matter what, it all had to connect to a 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch cube. And because that's a cube, I have to make sure I make it a cube. So I know whatever I have started from here. This is my starting point. Now I just connected other cubes to it. And because I have one cube here, I can just push pull out of this cube. So I'm still going to try to make that L. And you'll notice that would be like right here. That would be what I have here. And I notice that there's one cube on top of it and two cubes to the right of it. So I could just push pull from this same location. One cube up, which is another 3/4 inches, stacks on top of it. And then again, I have this side that I wanted to worry about, but because there's no line here, I have to make it. So I want to make sure it's exact measurements. So I'm going to make another 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch square to tell it when I push pull, I need that line there so it doesn't push pull the entire thing. That gets push pulled, and I already had that first 3/4 inches right here, so I'm only push pulling it 2 more blocks. So I'm doing 3/4 inches plus 3/4 inches, which 3 plus 3 gives me 6/4 inches. And now you'll notice, if I can zoom out, sorry, grab the wrong thing here. Now you'll notice I have the same L shape that I did prior, but I started with one linking cube. So that's 2 ways you can do it, but either way, you're starting with something and then adding the other dimensions on, whether you're starting with one thing or starting with a shape that you see. The additive method adds more of the cubes on top or pulls out from a starting point. So that is the additive method. I would like you to actually try the additive method to now create this. So this is a different shape, a little bit harder. You'll notice still kind of the L shape, but it's lying on its side, or we kind of cut off part of the L and moved it over here. So a little more challenging, but the additive method can still be used. Start with a shape that you see and pull from it, or you can go ahead and start from one cube wherever you see good to start and just start pulling. So good luck. Watch this video if you need some help, but also get started and try to create this piece with the additive method. Good luck.